So I'm not gonna lie, I thought sneaker resale was low-key dead, but after taking a look at some of the prices via the secondary market for some of the more recent releases, some of these prices might even surprise you. So first up, we got the Jordan 4 Undefeated, a recent drop, which you guys already know what time it is with this one, a legendary sneaker, one that I would say, as far as this year, probably one of the more highly anticipated, talked about drops of the entire year. Now, we did have the big drop as far as tomorrow's rumored sneakers app release. It looks like they have been loaded up to the back end. It's just a matter of how they plan to drop them. Complex did speculate that we could see exclusive access, but as of the time of this recording via the back end, it looks like they actually haven't released the method of how they plan to drop these. But based off the prices, which we've already seen come down all across the board, I'm hoping that as far as after tomorrow's drop, we might see another small little dip in price, right? So all across the board, no matter what size you look at, it looks like these joints are running for like somewhere around 350 bucks. Now, I actually missed out on this drop, and I usually don't pay resale, but just based off the fact that this is one which we never thought was gonna drop, and based off the fact that I've struck out already for these right here, I ain't gonna lie, I might have to bite that bullet in just based off the fact that people are still waiting on pairs to be received from that original drop. Remember, Undefeated did say that they were gonna be shipping out pairs up until the 29th. I'm just hoping that maybe we could see prices continue to dip even further. So kind of crazy to think, right? A sneaker which at one point was selling for like 10,000 plus. Now you guys can grab these for around $350. And I'm guessing prices might even drop a little bit further once we see more of these pairs actually touch people's hands. So let me know what y'all think about those prices. When you talk about what we're looking at here is StockX, but you can check out GOAT, eBay, which I'm guessing the prices will probably be slightly a little bit higher via those platforms. Next up, we got the Adidas Jellyfish. This one is in collaboration with Pharrell. And as you guys know, he's got a proven track record with Adidas. We've seen these tees pretty much like all year long. When you talk about Pharrell's stock and as far as the popularity of his sneakers, I would say over the last few years or so, it hasn't been the same as things like back when they dropped them human race joints. But I think after new accolades, such as the head of menswear over at Louis Vuitton, the energy behind the rollout of the new Clips album, it's got a lot of eyes on this sneaker, which we just saw hit the confirmed app. I'm guessing these must have been like super limited, because with a $300 retail price tag, we're seeing absolutely crazy resale numbers where these are selling for like double the price. On the day of the release, these joints were selling for like over $1,000 plus. But now that things have kind of settled down, people are starting to get the pairs in hand. I ain't gonna lie, these prices are still looking absolutely crazy. So for example, we got a men's size 6 selling for upwards of 700 plus, and then you got a size 12, which is selling for over 800, almost hitting the $900 mark. Plus, once you factor in fees and all that good stuff, you're looking at a sneaker which retails at 300 bucks, going for via the secondary market, probably for like over $1,000 plus, which is kind of crazy. So do you guys feel like the price on this one will continue to go up, or maybe possibly stabilize, dip down a little bit more? We also got more colorways of this sneaker planned. So do you guys feel like for future releases, they'll be as limited as this one was? And do y'all feel like prices will be as crazy? If history repeats itself, I'm guessing that as far as future releases, they probably shouldn't be as crazy as this OG colorway right here. Now, as far as other Jordan retro releases, which we saw drop recently, we got the Awake Jordan 5 collaboration, which we did see the pink bubblegum pair, as well as the Racer Blue drop. Now, with this one, there was a whole bunch of controversy storylines, one of those being the limited availability of this sneaker, which they were saying the pink pair, 7,000 pairs versus the Racer Blue, which was around 13,000 pairs. And to make matters even worse, the pink pair, it was numbered. So as you guys see here with the prices, these joints are going crazy, selling for above 800 bucks in my size. I'm seeing the smaller sizes like a 7 going for 1,400 bucks, which for a shoe that retails for what do these go for, like 230, something like that? That's absolutely mind-blowing. Now, we do know, one, that of course these are extremely limited. We've heard stories of backdooring and all that, so much that at this point I'm almost like, feel like I have no other choice but to believe some of these stories. Now, when you talk about these early backdoor prices, I've heard resellers say that they were backdooring these originally for like $650 plus, which is still wild that people are still able to make profit margins, with that outrageous backdoor price. But even so, it looks like the prices still continue to rise. Now, I don't think everybody's actually had their shoes delivered, which again, this one was an exclusive Awake NY drop, but with all the backdoor shenanigans happening, I ain't gonna lie, bro. Like, this is just one which I wanted to grab for the toe, but based off all the shenanigans, like in the resale prices, it's looking like this one may be one of those joints which just, gets away from me. So on top of those prices going crazy, you also got the Racer Blue pair, which is supposed to be hitting the sneakers app. Well, it is gonna be hitting the sneakers app coming up on Saturday, of course, based off the fact that there is supposed to be more pairs of this than the pink. Prices aren't as crazy, but still ain't looking too good. And from what we've heard, when you talk about this upcoming sneakers app drop, they're saying stock is going to be limited to somewhere like around 2,000-3,000 pairs. So from the initial releases through Awake NY, all of the backdooring and everything like that, when you talk about this upcoming sneakers app drop on Saturday, there ain't going to be too many pairs left over. So my guess is that prices, although everybody hasn't gotten theirs in hand just yet, after the panic of everybody missing out on Saturday's drop, we'll probably see these prices stay around the same, or who knows, things could even get worse. They might even go up. So let me know what y'all think about those joints. And I just want to clap it up for everybody that was able to secure any of these pairs successfully for retail. That's the best feeling nowadays, when you're able to get a shoe for retail, because these prices are a lot crazier than even I would have originally anticipated. Then we move forward to another one like the Nigel Jordan 1s, which this one had a more interesting trajectory, right? A different story, because when people first heard about this shoe, right, with the age, pre-scuffed look and all that good stuff on here, everybody was hating this one, right? They were saying these were too plain, there was no special elements and all that, and we were getting tired of that storytelling, right? It was getting redundant with all the pre-aged soles that we continue to see Jordan Brand drop. So everybody was hating on this release, but as far as the rollout, massive media rollout, we started to see prices dip up as expected before a big release like the Nigel Sylvester. But now that the release has came and went, and for the most part it seems like Nike has delivered most of the pairs right here, we're seeing a sneaker which you talk about retails for 150 bucks. Prices ain't too crazy, like, you know what I'm saying, when you think about something with the Nigel Sylvester name attached to it. My size 10.5, around 220. You got some smaller sizes like a size 6.5 going for a little bit over 200. So prices ain't too crazy when you compare this to, say, something like the Brick by Brick Jordan 4s, a sneaker which did shoot up and continues to go up in value. Do y'all feel like these sneakers are going to share a similar fate to like the Brick by Bricks, which got so much love and accolades? A lot of people would say one of the best sneaker releases of the year. Do y'all feel like these joints are going to have the similar, price increase and continue to go up? I feel like probably not, but due to the fact they are a Nigel Sylvester release and he has so much hype and weight surrounding his name, my guess is that we will see prices go up probably on this one, but not too crazy. Now, moving things over to New Balance, we have the Absorb 2000, one of their premier new models which they brought to the market, inspired by old 2000s runners. They definitely have that whole Y2K vibe happening, but with also a more futuristic, chunky look. I feel like these joints remind me of Nike Shocks. I mean, can y'all see it in the sole? Like, who are they trying to fool right here? Now, when you talk about this shoe, they do retail for 170 bucks. And anytime New Balance introduces a new silhouette to the market, they usually like to drop them in limited quantities. Now, we have seen some other colorways drop as well, which have been sellouts as well. So it seems like so far, the Absorb 2000, a popular model, when you talk about in the hype scene, retail prices are going for like double the retail price. So the question with this one is, it's the hot sneaker of the year. We do have an Amine collaboration, and I'm guessing we'll probably see some other New Balance talents collaborate on this model right here, but will it last the test of time like some other classic New Balance models? A lot of these new silhouettes, they just kind of come, they have a year or a couple of years in the rotation, and then New Balance just vaults them. So question is, does the 2000 have that lasting power, to be another classic staple in their catalog? Which then we move over to Vans. We got the old school 36 LX. Now this is one which you've probably heard of due to the crazy resale prices, which at one point were selling for like over $1,000 plus. But we do see here now that the market has kind of stabilized, as you do see pairs selling for around $300-400. But when you talk about hype Vans releases, we haven't seen prices like this, say, probably since like them Fear of God Vans, which dropped years back. So with this one, these are inspired by a vintage Chanel bag, if I'm not mistaken. So this is kind of one of those examples of a sneaker which has dropped in limited quantities. We've seen a few restocks pop up here and there, but for the most part, this is one that did have a pretty big social media influencer kind of campaign surrounding it. So prices are crazy, but as far as this, like, ain't nobody out here trying to pay over $400 for a pair of Vans, which will go for what, like $100 or something like that. But it is kind of cool to see a trendy pair like this, make some noise via the secondary market. But if y'all are tripping about the Nigels being pre-loved and beat up, like, I would love to know what y'all think about these joints right here. And then lastly, we're talking about shoes which have already dropped, but I did want to mention these, the Cave Stone 4s, an unreleased pair of Jordans, set to drop coming up here in September. Now, when you talk about this sneaker, it feels like these joints have already released with the amount of pairs which you've already seen hit the streets early. It feels like every bulk seller is out here trying to flip these joints ahead of the release date, which the effect of that directly is that this shoe is already going for like under resale via the secondary market. Any of your local resale sneaker shops you walk in, you're probably going to see these on shelves, which is kind of crazy because at one point this was a beloved sneaker, you know, for the Jordan community. But now that it looks like prices are going for like, you know, already at retail and the drop hasn't even gone down, does it feel like this sneaker is not getting as much love as people were, you know, giving it ahead of the actual release? So let me know what y'all think about this one, man. When you talk about stock numbers and you talk about prices, I feel like that's a direct effect, you know, of some of these resale prices via the market, right? A lot of these shoes which we've covered have been hype, limited collaborations, which in turn are gonna bring up the high prices. But then when you have a shoe like this, which is mass produced, as you guys see here, you got already going for under resale via the secondary market. And it could even be an OG, say like the white cements. Anytime Jordan Brand floods a shoe with say like anywhere over 100,000 pairs, more so than likely them joints are gonna be sitting. So as far as these resale prices, I ain't gonna lie, they've kind of surprised me. Let me know what y'all think down below. And again, if you guys were able to fortunately cop any of these sneakers for retail, you know, I gotta clap it up for you guys, because ain't nothing better of a feeling than that. So I missed out on these, I ain't gonna lie, I'm kind of hurt about these. And then we'll see how things go as far as these undefeateds for tomorrow's drop. But based off the fact that these joints are probably gonna be exclusive access, I ain't getting my hopes too high. So JATV, until next time, stay safe, stay blessed. I'm out. Love.